Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Red, the channel for crypto news. Today we're going to talk about a major blockchain that stopped working. We'll also talk about BlackRock. I'm going to tell you about Hyperliquide and the latest upgrades on that project. We'll also talk about Donald Trump, who continues with his pro-crypto stance, and many other topics. Every day you get the best of crypto news here. Let's start with the cryptocurrency prices. We have BTC at $114,000, almost $115,000. Ethereum at $300,700. Solana is up 5% today. What we're also noticing is that Ethereum's ETFs are starting to lose assets. There have been $465 million in outflows from these ETFs on Monday. This is something fairly typical. We see it when the price of ETH drops. Some investors want to get back a portion of what they had in those ETFs, and this is basically a kind of sell-off by investors who had money in those products. It's nothing shocking, but it's worth mentioning. I talk to you when things go well with these ETFs, but also when they don't go so well. Next, there's a crypto project doing really well, Fluid. Fluid is a kind of decentralized exchange that also integrates lending and borrowing. They've merged both aspects into a single platform. I told you about it a long time ago. It's something I introduced to quite a lot of people, including during some consulting session that I do with some clients. And now the state of Fluid is pretty incredible. They have 55% market share in terms of volume on decentralized exchanges across Ethereum, Arbitrum, Base, and Polygon. In short, it's huge. That's more than all other platforms combined. Look, Fluid is at 55%, Uniswap at 25%, Curve at 13%. Now, to be clear, this is just for stablecoin volume, meaning exchange between USDC, USDT, and other similar stablecoin. So in that sense, Fluid has really taken Curve's place. You know how much I've appreciated Curve for a long time, but now Fluid has virtually replaced Curve on stablecoin pairs. That said, Curve still has its use. There are a lot of things happening there as well, and I'll talk to you about that another time. But what Fluid has done is seriously impressive. Now comes the real question about Fluid. Will they be able to do with volatile asset pair what they did with stablecoins? That means pairs like ETH USDT or BTC USDC. That's the real question. There's a new version of Fluid coming soon that aims to make that possible. That's where the current debate lies. For instance, the founder of Aerodrome says Fluid won't succeed because this kind of model doesn't work well with volatile asset pairs. So the whole bet right now is, will Fluid manage to replicate the success in the volatile pair market? It's a risky bet, but it could really pay off big for those who invest now. Because if they do succeed in transforming themselves and grabbing 55% market share on all DEX volume, it will be really massive. There are two sides to this. I personally believe it will work, but not as well as it did for stablecoins. So I don't think they'll reach 55% market share on volatile pairs, but they'll still grab a significant portion of that market. So there, you have it. I'll keep you updated on how all of this evolves. Now let's move on to other news. Let's talk about Base, Coinbase blockchain, which stopped functioning for 30 minutes on Monday. We have no explanation for the outage. It simply lasted about 30 minutes, during which you couldn't send a transaction on the blockchain. This again highlights the centralization of layer 2 solutions. I've already told you multiple times, most L2s like Arbitrum, Base, Optimism have a significant degree of centralization, especially around their sequencer. You know, they all rely on a single sequencer, and when that sequencer goes down, you can no longer send or receive transaction on the blockchain, plain and simple. Unfortunately, decentralizing the sequencer is not a priority. For most of the major layer 2 solutions right now, they think about other stuff. They think about permissionless, which is really good, but not the decentralization of sequencer. Polygon had tried to work on that, but lately it seems like they've shifted focus. In any case, we'll have to live with this centralized sequencer for a while now. I think it will improve over time, but unfortunately it's not being prioritized at the moment. So anyway, we're going to maintain this centralization at the L2 level for a little while. I think it will improve, as I said. So yeah, let's watch and see. Wait and see, sorry. There are also this is not the first time Base had an issue. Base went down for half an hour or 45 minutes also in 2023, so it's something kind of recurring. We're not at the level of Solana when it wasn't working well, but it's still something to be careful about. Next, Hyperliquid. What this platform is doing is really huge. It started, as a perpetual trading only platform. Now there's a lot of stuff on this platform. There's spot crypto trading. There's also an EVM. There's a lot of things happening, but now they have their best month in July. They have 25% market share on the perps trading on decentralized exchange. So it's really huge. They're generating a lot of money. At the current revenue pace, they're on track to generate $1 billion revenue in a year. And it's not revenue paid to people who provide liquidity on Hyperliquid. It's really revenue that goes to Hyperliquid's own coffers. And what do they do with this money? Well, they buy back Hype tokens. So that mechanically increase the price because it creates strong demand for the Hype token. They currently have a market cap of $12 billion. So they're at 12x in relation to their profits. That's not a lot. So it's probably pretty well. It's good value. The Hype token seems to be like a good token because it generates real value and it's not overpriced. So what can I say more? Yeah, we can see that if we take all the crypto project and see their revenue, there is Circle at the second place, Tether, which is in charge of USDT at the first place, and third place is for Hyperliquid. It's really huge. People are waiting for the Hyperliquid airdrop. I've already talked about it. But yeah, there's a lot of things happening with Hyperliquid, Hyper EVM. They have an outage recently on their API, but they gave out several $1 million to compensate people. So everything is good regarding Hyperliquid for now. Next, let's talk about Yield and Linea. Linea, which will launch their token really soon. It's an L2 on Ethereum. They're gonna auto deposit the ETH deposited on Linea to Lido and to have staked ETH. So Lido, the number one staking platform on Ethereum, will be used. They will stake a lot of ETH. They will stake also all the ETH of Sharplink Gaming, which will have a couple billions at least of Ether in the next few months. So a lot of Ether is going to be staked on Linea. Donald Trump continues to be pro-crypto. He's expected to sign an executive order early next week to prevent banks from withdrawing access, closing accounts of crypto-related companies, startups, and individuals. In the US, there were many cases, and even in other countries in Europe, of people being denied the bank account simply because they were associated with crypto. And this is something that will really help. Next, I made a few days ago a dedicated video about QUBIC and MONERO. QUBIC has been attacking MONERO, and look, in fact, CFB, the founder of QUBIC, has now stated that QUBIC, the QUBIC community and the validators, and probably himself, have decided to pay MONERO miners even more money now. That means there are even greater incentives to mine with the QUBIC pool. As a result, they are on track to gain even more market share in mining, in MONERO mining. Let's remember that their goal is to reach 100% of the mining, because once they surpass 50%, they can block all other miners from validating blocks on MONERO. Then they would have 100% control and will generate even more return for their miner. And that's not good, not at all for MONERO, because it will be really centralized, and QUBIC will do some stuff that are not good for the long-term strategy of MONERO. Unfortunately, QUBIC hash rate is not reported anymore, so we can't see exactly how much hash rate they have now. But yeah, we have to be careful about this. Next, some good news. The crypto project on Solana was hacked, but fortunately, the $4.5 million lost, they negotiated with the hacker, and the hacker returned the $4.5 million, so people will be reimbursed. We don't have details on the bounty. They likely paid the bounty equal to 10% of the fund lost, so probably around $400,000 to $450,000 for discovering the vulnerability, and especially to avoid pressing charges against the hacker and close the matter there. That way, the individual is seen more as an ethical hacker rather than a black hat, a malicious hacker. That's what I wanted to share with you today regarding various crypto news updates. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Take care. Bye-bye.